All right, we should be recording. Hey everyone, welcome to Coach Hill and Couch, episode 11. I checked this time.
Yes.
I made sure to look. It's a bummer for the last video. We couldn't be like double digits.
Oh, well.
You know what? 1-1's pretty good too. So, yeah, this is part 2 of our conference roundup. This one is meant to be a little bit deeper dive into how people did and how we did as a team. So I have my notes here. It's not that Sydney doesn't have notes. It's just here. So yeah, like I said, conference at this point was 2 weekends ago. Hard to believe it's already been that long, and it doesn't feel like it has been that long.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I swear we were just there. Anyway, for any parents watching this, if you haven't seen Jason Knopfsinger's photos, make sure you go and search those out. If you're on our group email thread, you should have gotten all those. If not, you can reach out directly to me and I can add you to it. So thank you once again, Jason, for taking those photos. I've looked through not every session, but a handful of the sessions. And yeah, they're great. Look forward to using them in some future stuff that we do. So, yeah, so I figured for this, it's kind of what we presented at the end of season meeting with who did what and all that there, but kind of go from there. That actually would have probably been better than, my little handwriting where I'm like, what does that say again? But anyway, so I figured what we would do is we'd go over, final place and standings. I think we talked about that last time, but just how that relates to last year or even previously years. Talk about who scored at conference, just straight up individual scores, relay scores, as well as then who got all conference honors. So, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, starting with the women's meet, specifically, where we finished. The women finished 5th overall, scoring 344 points. It's 10 more points than last year. Yep. Excuse me, and I think from 2 years ago, we jumped. So in 2024, we jumped 57 points or something like that. So then this is an additional 10 on that. So in a 2-year span, we've jumped almost 70 points as a program for the women's team, which is awesome. I have the data going back to say the 2022 conference, but it's on my computer, which is right over there, and it's not here in front of me. But I know that it's been an upward trend for the women coming out of COVID, which has been pretty cool. We finished 7th in 2022, 6th the last 2 years, and then 5th this year. So they're on a good trajectory. Finishing 5th is the highest since 2008. So 17 years, we into our highest finished. We were 5th, I think, in 08, 3rd in 04, and 4th in 01. Okay. Otherwise, we've always been 6th or lower. So since the turn of the century, we finished 5th or better only 4 times now. Yeah. Which is pretty cool, right? Like, I think that means we're moving in the right direction. It was an interesting team battle. We entered, day 3 we entered tied with Linfield?
Entered day 3.
Yeah, entered day 3 tied with Linfield. That was moving day for everybody, and they moved away from us, and, that speaks to their depth, and congratulations to them on that. But, we were 50 points away from Linfield. Yeah. And I think, you can always play the what-if game, right? Like, what if a swimmer who wasn't healthy for this meet, what if they had been healthy? They would have scored points, but again, you can't play that game. I feel like I'm really good at playing that game, but I'm excited. It will be a big challenge to replace the loss of points though from the senior class on the women's side, right? So specifically Tatum, Anna, Jacqueline, Elena, and Sarah. Yeah. Those 5 contributed either individual points in either an A or B final. Most of them, I think all of them actually were in an A final. Not individually. Jacqueline wasn't an A finalist individually, but the other 4 have been. Jacqueline has been a B finalist her whole time here at a minimum. But Jacqueline has been on our A relays. Yeah. And so in some capacity, those 5 women team members have all scored championship level points for us. That's going to be a really hard replacement for sure. Yeah.
Just that the number and depth and then the people, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. And I think what helps me, at least for me, is that we're we have depth behind them.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I feel like I can say from a graduating class, like we have depth behind. And that's not any offense to the teams below us, but like the previous teams, I should say. But it's to say that we've never been, I feel, this strong as a women's program, at least since I've been here. We have always had great individual swimmers, and we've always had great like next tier down. But that gap between the top and the next tier down, it's been significant at times, and I feel this year we've shrunk that, but then we also have younger ones who are not in that top tier. Yeah. Whereas before it was a development. And I think another part is to remember that of the 7 women who are on this team for seniors, they all developed into that speed, right? Like even though some of them in some events didn't hit PRs while they were with us due to injury or sickness and illness at the time we were tapered or whatever it may be, no excuse by any means, but they developed that talent over their 4 years here, so we can do it again. I think that's the other thing that helps me feel a little bit more at ease when I look at how many points we're graduating in that class.
I'm definitely excited. I think you're right. We have so many that are developing that want to step up into that too, which is nice. Like, we can want it as much as we want, and it can only go so far unless they want it, and it really does seem like they do, and so that's exciting. Yeah. Like, yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's flip over to the men's meet. The men finished 8th, kind of where we thought they were. Oh, one thing I do want to say, really quick before we move on. The women, we were projected to finish 6th at the beginning of the year.
Was it 6 or 7?
It was 6.
Okay.
And we were projected to finish 6th this year, so we moved up one spot higher and then we were projected to, with, again, I think in some real contention to have been, we were at least contending for 4th for a little bit, right? And so again, I think that speaks that the women are trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
So congratulations, women's team. Moving over to the men finished 8th. That's where preseason. That's why I thought about this. Preseason, they were selected to finish 8th. Be honest, I really agreed with that. Just looking at talent on roster and roster size, I figured we would. I think the surprise for me was that in this meet, we were 7th all the way until literally the 200 fly, the last individual event.
Yep.
And that's just where Fox's depth from numbers came into play. They just had 3 men and the 2 fly, and we had none. At least for finals, they had 1 up, 2 down, which means 1 in the A final, 2 in the B final, or championship and consolation final. And that was I'll share it. We were ahead by 12 going into that event, and we came out -6. So they scored 18 points in that. Again, big ups to them, right? Like they went and earned it. But our men to have been in 7th from Thursday, more or less Thursday onward. I think we were actually a little bit higher. Were we higher? Yeah, at one point we were higher than 7th just because of some relay DQs and whatnot. But to be in 7th, heading into literally the last individual, knowing that, I don't think I ever would have told Natalie this, but I was fairly confident we could beat them in the relay.
Yeah.
Just with how we were swimming. I know we were going to be tired, but I had faith that we could beat them in the relay. So, but that was only going to be +2 unless we somehow managed to finish like 3 spots ahead of them, which that would have been a very tall ask for our men's team. That would have been big. But to be 8th by 4 points. Yeah. Again, like we had no business being there. We overswam our seeds by so much, and the men just did really well. And that's unfortunately one of the drawbacks of having a small team that is not very diverse event-wise. And that's, you could point to the team and saying like, y'all got to be more diverse. I think you could point to us and be like, what are you doing with recruiting? And I think you could make the point back to COVID, that COVID really did hurt our men's team pretty significantly from a retention and a culture standpoint. And we've been trying to come out of that ever since. And I finally feel like we are now on that path to coming out of it really well.
Yeah, I think so. It was like, we had no business being that close to a team.
Yeah, that's twice our size.
Yeah, and being ahead of them up until literally the last individual event. Yeah. That is double our size. Yeah. Like, just if you think about it statistically with the number of people, number of races, like, it shouldn't have been, but I think they knew they had that kind of, oh, well, you're small, like, this is where you're going to finish, kind of chip on their shoulder, and just showed out. And it was epic. We got some crazy fast swims, and it was just real fun to watch them swim and earn it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it was cool. All Okay, I do have this written down. Perfect. So, so again, congrats to our men. I think the only way from here is up, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to any other, to like Pacific who finished below us or to Fox who barely beat us, but I just think our men's team is in a good place to now that we've got the culture we really want as far as like commitment to recruiting from their end and on ours. How we carry ourselves as a men's team, and not that that's significantly different from the women by any means, but just being able to now build upon, right? And we're really quickly, as of what is this? It's the 27th at about 2 p.m. Pacific. We do have 5 committed for the class of 2029, and 3 of them are men's team, 2 of them are women's team, and so we're in a good spot. We got a long way to go with recruiting with the rest of this class, so we'll see where we finish, but that's not what this video is about. So that's how we finished team-wise. So I'm just going to read the names of the people who scored for us individually, and I'm just going to kind of read it as I wrote it here. I do think nope, I didn't. I mixed up men and women because it was kind of as they came to me. But all right, so just individual scores. Jillian Price, 200, 500 free, and the 200 back. Sarah Jenner, 500 mile, 200 breast. Emma Knopfsinger, 500, and then 100, 200 back. Paul Keith, 200, 500 free. Jacqueline Hall, 200, 200 IM. Tatum Good, 100 back, 200 IM. And 200 back. See, this is the problem with how I wrote this, but whatever. Elena, 50, 100, 200 free. Leah, 50, 100, 100 back. Leah Howe, Elena Kiss a Day. Lydia Schmidt, 100 fly. And just missing those 100 free, the 150 free. Those events got passed this year. Mm-hmm. But Ava Rich, 100 fly. Elisa, 1650. Elisa Michaels, 1650. Nick Moore, 1650. Emma Shabel, 2 back. Kawalapa Masuko, 1 breast, 2 breast. Tessa Chiatti, 1 fly, 2 fly, 200 IM. Cole Lindbergh, 1 fly, 1 back. We'll talk about his in just a second here with that one. And I think this is the last one. Anna Hornback, 1 breast, 2 breast. So those are all of our scores across the men's and women's team individually. Additionally, for relays, you had Mia Spurbreck on the 200, 400 free relays. And then Ethan Davies, 200, 400, or 200, 800 free relay, and Kevin Olmedo, 200, 400 medley, 400, 800 free relay. So I think all in told those were all of our scores. I believe it's 14 for the women and 5 for the men. Yeah. And so, those are all the scores. And what that means is they either made the championship final or the consolation final or swam on a relay. Because relays are time finals, and everybody scores. Swimmers that earned second team all conference, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total, which I believe is an upping from last year. This is actually, I don't have a year-to-year comparison on this one, but those 8 did 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 all conference second team swim. So Tessa in the 100 fly, 200 IM. Cole in the 100 fly, Elena in the 100, 200 free, Anna 100, 200 breaststroke, Kawalapa 100 breaststroke, Leah in the 100 back, Jillian in the 2 back, and Tatum in the 2 back. To earn second team all conference honors means you were a championship finalist, so a top 8 finalist, and you finished 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th. So they all made a final in those events and finished there. First team, we had 2 people earning first team over for 2 swims. Cole in the 100 back, he got second, going 51-53. Kind of an unexpected second, I think, for everybody. And then Tessa in her 2 fly getting third. It's funny, the one thing she came to us and said was, I didn't want to finish 4th, I really wanted a medal. Which actually took me all the way back to Ashlyn Witherwax. Ashlyn, when she got third in the 2 breast one year, that was one of the first things she came up and said to me. She's like, Brent, I got a medal. She was so happy. And I was happy for her, and obviously I'm very happy for Tessa. So yeah, they finished, again, Cole finished second in the 1 back, Tessa third in the 2 fly. Yeah, I mean, looking at this list, Cole, Elena, and Tatum are the graduates from the all conference roster, and then you add in Sarah and Jacqueline for scores. So I think that goes back to what we were talking about, right? Like yes, 5 of the 14 women who are graduating are scorers, but there's 9 more behind, and there was at least, Lydia was close on a few things, Emma Shaba was close on a few things, Kalima Glasgow was close on after her 4 a.m. She turned around, did the one fly, and finished just outside. And there are a few who were further down, other than the alternates. Emma Knopfsinger was just outside on one of them. I forget which one it was.
Was she? She was in Constellation. Oh, you meant got it.
Yeah, right? Wasn't she?
Yeah,
Oh, no. She scored in everything. I'm thinking 2 years ago then.
Yeah,
for
you're
Emma.
thinking too.
So anyway,
I was thinking, she was in the Constellation for all of them.
No, you're right. So
she was just outside for the 5. Like, she was pretty close relative terms for doing 20 laps in a pool for an A final.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just talking about straight scoring. I'm thinking 2 years ago from her one back.
Incredibly frustrating.
But anyway, that was 2024 for Emma Knopfsinger, not this year. So anyway, and so again, Cole, the one guy graduating. Yes, Cole's a lot of points because he finished with two A finals. But again, we're bringing in some good talent. We definitely have to develop some other people behind Cole, but excited for that. For the women, again, those 5 just super impactful, but we'll develop. So I guess the last thing I wanted to talk about here is some top 10 new program, top 10 times, and I'm going to throw in an additional one from earlier this year, but 2 swims that I believe just missed our top 10. I don't know if you've ever looked at our top 10. I'm saying that more to the camera than to Sydney, and because I know she has. Our top 10 is split for individual and relays, and then within the individual, it only goes for where we could find good record, and I am a little frustrated with it because it means some events only have 5 people, some have 10, some have 6. It's a little all over. All of them at least have 5 for the individual, but for a while, and I think still for now, the belief is we're not going to add anyone to the top 10 until they beat the slowest time, and if they don't have 10 already. And that's frustrating because that information's out there, but it also is really hard to find with the NAIA stuff from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So I can understand it. I don't like it, but it is what it is. So when I'm talking about these 2 times, these are both times that fall in that category where the events they swam don't have a completed top 10. So I'm assuming they would be top 10 times based off of the times they swum and the slowest time in that top 10 race. So the first one, women's 400 medley. I don't remember their time off the top of my head, and I don't have it written down here. But they would have swum a time that would have finished 7th in our top 10 because they are hundredths off the time of the 6th place time. So a little bummer, but to Tatum, Anna, Tessa, and Elena, congratulations. I should say we believe, I don't for sure know that you are the 7th fastest in program history. Kyle Lapa's 200 breaststroke, his 209.45. I believe he is the 6th fastest performer in school record because 5th place is 209.43.
Yay!
I cannot say that obviously with absolute certainty, but again, to be 200ths in a long event like that, not that it can't happen, but I just have to believe he is the 6th fastest performer. He's for sure in a top 10. I can tell you that much. But he's in the 100 coming with a swelling. So all right, let's okay. So I wrote them all down initially, then I wrote them in order. So this is the placing they are at now is the new order they should be. So we're starting with Tessa's 100 fly. She went 57.83 in prelims, breaking the program record for the 100 fly, which was previously held by Kylie Lynn at 58.11. 58.88. Something like that, 58.88. Tessa went 57.83, taking more than a second off. And then at finals, she went 58.05. So that are now the top 2 times in our program history. So congratulations, Tessa. Continue with Tessa, 200 fly. She went 212.10 in prelims, which actually slotted her 2nd at the time. But then at finals went a 210.82, which shattered the old record held by Alicia Potter at 211. 2:11 something. Maybe that's the 80. I don't remember. But again, Tessa's 2:10.82 took more than a second off. So
that's why it's written down.
That's right. So now Tessa has the first and third fastest times in the two flies. So again, congratulations, Tessa. 53 women's team, Elena Kisadei going 24.65. She's now tied for 6th with Malia Santos. So congratulations, Elena. Our women's 2 medley of Leah Howe, Anna Hornbrack, Tessa Chiatti, and Elena Kisadei went 1:49.67 for the third fastest in program history, finishing about 4/10 off the record. I believe that crew also holds the second fastest time. It's either the second or the fourth. So that group now has 2 of the 4 fastest times. Yeah, I definitely thought they could have gotten it, but it's okay. It's okay. Can't be perfect. You know, not every swim can be a record swim, and that's why it's a record. It's because it's hard to do. So, 100 breaststroke, Kyle Lapa, right? Alluded to him making it. So Kyle Lapa, he went 58.88. Which at the time was the third fastest time. He did that at the Bruin Invite. That was, like I said, I believe the third fastest time. He was the second man to break 59 seconds in our program history when he did that finals. And then at conference, he went 57.97 in prelims, which shot him up to the third fastest time, and then at finals, the 58.24, giving him the 4th fastest time. So Kyle Lapa now has the 3rd, 4th, and 5th fastest times in program history. And again, he's only the second man to break 58 now in our program's history. He's just a couple tenths off of that record. He's about 4 tenths, just under half a second away from that. So I know he's got some goals for that next year, and yeah, really fun to watch him develop into that. So congratulations, Kyle Lapa. The last 2 are for Cole Lindberg. His 100 fly, he won a 50.21 in prelims and 50.47 at finals. That respectively is the 5th and 6th fastest times now in program history. With those swims, he actually takes Steve Koga completely off the top 10. Why is that significant? So Steve Koga was our previous record holder, held the 100 fly at 51.90 something. Maybe it's not 51.90 something. Anyway, he held the record for 40 some odd years until Derek Ludwig, class of 2020, came along and broke it his junior year. Derek then took it down even further to 50.87 his senior year. Derek was the first man to break 51 in our program, and then COVID hit. Took a year off, and then Cole came in. And in that time, Cole has broken the record. Cole owns that record at 49.91, and has added, I think, at least one other sub 150-second swim. But between Cole and Derek now, they own the whole top 10. I think Derek has 4 and Cole has 6 of those top 10 times. So, yeah, what once was a 40-year-old record is now actually completely off of our books, at least from a top 10 standpoint. So, congrats, Cole, in that. And then finally, Cole's 100 back, mentioned it earlier, 51.53 to finish 2nd. That ranks him 4th overall behind Eric Swin, who's a former All-American. Coincidentally, was our last All-American in swimming. So also, I believe Cole is now the only... I can't remember actually if Tim Roth broke 52. I'm trying to think back to the top 10 times. So I know it's Eric Swin, Cole Lindberg, and Tim Roth are the 1, 2, 3 fastest men in the 100 back now. I think Tim might have broken 52. I can't remember. But I think this one, out of all these swims, I mean, Tessa's records were great, especially her 2:10. I don't think Tessa thought she could go that fast. She definitely thought she had some in the tank, right? Yeah. I don't know if you heard her when she came up and was talking after me, and she was like, I definitely have more. I'm a little frustrated. I wasn't faster this morning. And I was like, well, we'll just do it. Fine, I'll see what happens. And then her face said it all when she went to 2:10. Again, I just don't think...
I hope it's only a picture.
Yeah, I just don't think she thought she was going to go that sound. Same with the 57. Not that we didn't think she had it in her, but I just don't think she thought she was going to go that fast. So that was super cool. But again, Kyle Lapa, the 57.97, very impressive. Again, Elena finishes with a PR as a senior to get to tie for 6th. But Cole's 100 back, just... first off, we thought he DQ'd. Yeah. I'm going to be real honest with y'all. I thought he DQ'd.
I don't know if I breathed.
His nose came up. So where we sit at conference, we sit right on the 15-meter mark from the start. And he was in lane 8. And so we are right there, right? Like from here to my desk, which you can't see, but is right there at the end of my foot. Like that's
not
about,
very far.
Feels like how far we were, right?
Yeah.
And Cole's kicking. I'm like, come up. And he comes up, and I swear his nose splits the buoys that indicate the 15-meter mark. And I'm like, I'm holding my breath the whole race. Like that is in my head now the whole race. And he turns at the 50 mark. I do not remember what he turned in. I don't even remember if he turned in the top 3, honestly. But he had a great third 25, and he came off that 75 turn, and he just rocketed past everybody but Will Cabana from UPS, and he came up and he held on, and he got in there, finished second. He swam straight the whole time. That's one of the things with him. The last 2 years, he's been riding. He rode the lane line, like not on purpose, just he could not get off the lane line, and he always was still going super fast. And it's like, here's what it could have been. Here's what it was when you don't ride the lane line, which is super cool. But I'm not gonna lie, I held my breath that whole race about that. I watched the ref, who was standing at the 15-meter mark, walk over to where the meet ref was, and they were talking, and I was like, man, he didn't raise his hand at least, but like, I was convinced Cole was getting DQ'd. And when they were like, they said something to the effect of like, times are official, and I exhaled and I like ran over to Cole and gave him a big hug, and I was like, and he was like, I can't believe I went that. I'm like, I can't believe you didn't get DQ'd. And I was like, gave him a big hug, and he was like, what? I'm like, Cole, you were pushing so good. But I was like, oh my goodness. And we had a few other words talking about, but I mean, like, what a swim, right? I think if I was to say, it's hard to pick a swim of the meet because it's certain swims stick in my mind. So that one sticks in my mind. Again, Tessa's Kalapa. Kalapa's 2 breast. Jillian's 5. The relays for the men and the women, like they all just stick. And so I don't want to pick a swim of the meets because there are just so many, and I don't think it discredits. I think it discredits. And I mean, sure, if Cole had won, maybe that'd be like, of course, right? Like, of course, like, that I do think if you win a conference title, of course, it's going to be swim of the meet, right? But like, so just overall a great conference. Wanted to do this video just to dive a little. I know it was a lot of me talking and Sydney probably just sitting here shaking her head. Probably could have done this one solo without making her sit here. Yeah, I could have just done like, Sydney's here. Actually, she could have sat right there. But it's also very hot in the office right now because it's like 65 in Salem and sunny.
And
I didn't want to
right there.
Yeah, and I didn't want to turn the AC on to have that going. So try to wrap this here. But yeah, what a great meet. We're fully now into off season. So where are we now? So we're in off season. Focused on recruiting. Took a little bit of time here and there. I will be taking more time starting in the middle of next month for some paternity leave to be with my youngest. I'll be working a couple days a week, but not 5 days a week. I hope Sydney's not working 6 days a week. Take those Saturdays off. But yeah, we got some admitted student days coming up, so we'll be recruiting at those. Welcoming our recruits that were still out there trying to get to commit. Swim lessons, we do run swim lessons to help fundraise for the program and for various things. So we're currently in the first session now that'll run through spring break, and then we'll go 2 sessions after spring break and a little bit more condensed 4 days a week instead of only twice a week. Sydney's more or less runs the day-to-day operations of those. I'll be there because my oldest is in that, so. And the middle child still wants to be in it. We might put her in it starting next week, though.
Okay.
We're gonna see how she does today.
Okay, let me know.
Tried to distract her last time by having
went
for a walk to take the photos off from senior day, and I was making her say all the seniors' names, and then of course when she starts to see the seniors, she's like, "I'm like, who is that?"
Yeah.
So anyway, so where does that leave us with this? To be honest, I don't know. I don't want to stop this because I've actually heard a lot of feedback that this is really interesting, not only from a parent perspective, but from a recruit perspective.
Friend perspective that don't even swim.
Yeah, right for you.
A bunch of my friends. Hi.
Yeah, there you go. So I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to see how my schedule shakes out. I think that's first and foremost. It's not that Sydney doesn't want to do these by herself. I'm sure she does. But
sure.
I'm not going to make her do them by herself. And so I think at a bare minimum, we'll move to probably monthly if it's just us. I think there could be potential where we could do bi-weekly where we bring in like a swimmer or I would love to do some sort of alumni talk. Maybe that's something that Andrew. So I am right now going to go up to watch D1 Nationals for the men and the women. The women is the 3rd week of March. The men is the 4th week of March. It's our spring break. Maybe I can interview Andrew while we're up there and do Andrew's the head coach at PLU, who's an alum. He was a senior my first year here. And maybe we can do that, right? Get alum conversations or swimmer conversations. But finding some other way to engage with our programs past and present that isn't just you and I talking back and forth, or even just me talking, period. But yeah, so that's what to look forward to. So again, I don't have a set release schedule. I wish I could, right? Because I think it'd be really good to be able to do this. But I do think, at a bare minimum, 1 and 2 in March, maybe one more than 2. Again, 1 or 2 in April. And then when we get to May, then I think we really will have to take a hard look. Sydney and I had talked the other day, right? We had talked about it could just be us pontificating. That's a big word. It's your SAT word for the day. About things related to the sport, around like how we grow as coaches. May might be cool to do though, because we're planning to go to our coaches convention for our college coaches convention. So coming out of that, like what taking and looking forward to the future. Yeah, so we'll see. But with that, I'm gonna stop rambling. Any last words from you about conference?
That was awesome.
Yeah, this is a good one.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll look forward to next year, and but we're gonna enjoy this year first and foremost. Finish up the semester. But yeah, I also promise we will do a release post on our social medias this time, so it's not just like you see the little thing like, oh, they've got a new post. But if you haven't, I love saying this, hit that bell icon to get notified when these videos go live.
You got to say it.
Yeah. Social media influencer money, here we come.
Oh, it's his dream.
Tens of viewers, not dozens.
Tens.
Anyway, all right, y'all. Thanks for putting up with us. That kind of officially wraps the 24-25 season. And we're moving to the off season, so we'll talk to you when we talk to you.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.